Welcome back to Q-Dads, I'm Ste, and episode 4 of Dark Matter becomes so much better as we unravel the thread connecting the multiverse and infinite number of possibilities. That one scene even reminded me of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. This show is starting to pick up and gives us more of an insight into the grand plan and how to travel through these doors in what I'm calling the Corridor of Infinity. Plus, we now understand the reason why some of these doors are showing desolate landscapes. As we hit the halfway point, don't forget to subscribe and join us for the rest of this journey as we open our own doors full of theories. Episode 4 starts with Leighton and the chaos that unfolded at the end of episode 3. And in a surprise move, Leighton also enters the box in some foolish quest to chase them down. This doesn't end well for him. Jason, Juan and Amanda talk about the fact they're in a liminal space. The corridor of infinity that seems to only exist because the human mind can't comprehend what moving through realities would actually look like, and that they have passed 220 doors already. Now, this liminal space, Jason says it's made by the mind, so firstly, how does he still see Amanda? Wouldn't each person be in their own space? Or is it more that anyone in superposition can also see anyone else who is in a superposition? More on this towards the end. Here we get to see Jason 1 try the first door, which enters them into a world covered by ash that seems to have been devastated by some catastrophic event. Now, as they start to explore this world, not knowing what's happened, they start to see the world crumble around them. They panic and have to make a mad dash back to the box for safety. Now, one of the things I did notice here is when they exited the box, it almost looked like they were in a museum with the red rope on the outside. Now, I have two theories on this. We know that the box exists in the same place in each reality they visit. So in some realities, humans must have discovered it. So I think in this reality they did, and have attempted to understand it. That, or actually, could this building be some kind of, for a lack of better word, station? So people would come here and swap realities. Now, I know it seems far-fetched, but in an infinite number of realities, surely someone else out there would have discovered how to use the box. And in a world about to end, surely a box where you can go anywhere else would be quite valuable. Let me know what you think. Jason 2 talks to Charlie about his birthday and really does things that are a little bit out of character, like telling him to speed through the lights. And a little bit later on, he then quits university as the students pay no attention to him. Back with Jason 1, we actually see him and Amanda inject themselves again, with the side effects of the drugs now not lasting as long. They begin to try multiple doors in hopes of finding Jason's homeworld. We get to see several doors, including one with a woodland, which has nothing around, and another with no atmosphere, as the sun seems just too close. Although I do question if they would have been instantly vaporised by the sheer heat of the sun, and the buildings probably would have melted too. We get one where they meet another version of themselves and witness Amanda being shot, which does in fact actually show us a Jason 3, which we have said would happen, even if we do only see him for a brief moment. We then get a couple more, one filled with water and one blocked in, plus one that seems to have some kind of creature lurking in the distance. I'm not sure what this is, but I'll touch on this in a moment with one of my crazy theories. Now, interesting here, this is where I have a great theory, why we're seeing the worlds we see, and this all stems from what is later revealed to be controlled by the mind. The fact that we see some kind of post-apocalyptic world or desolate woodland with nothing around, is this a representation of their current mindset? So later on it's revealed that the mind controls where they go and what doors they can go through. So, because at this moment they're almost in the mindset of panic, is this the reason we see those empty worlds with no one around them? Because in their own mind they are in fact lost and unsure what to do? Is the fact that Amanda saw herself die because in her own mind, she wanted to do something similar as a way of escaping these infinite possibilities? The water world, for example, could be seen as them drowning in an infinite number, and the world where they're blocked in is simply they're trapped and they don't know how to escape or what they're looking for. Anyway, Amanda ends up running off into the snowstorm as Jason follows in an attempt to rescue them, and they take refuge in a house. Very interesting, we see a dead cat again, another sign of the whole Schrödinger experiment. To be honest though, this whole scenario was baffling. These are supposed to be smart people. Rushing off into a snowstorm seemed really weird to me. Maybe a bit of dodgy character writing? Jason 2 then speaks with Leighton 1 about bringing the band back together, and here Jason 2 leads into the box and actually enters with him. I'm unsure about the reason why Jason has teamed up with Leighton 1. Jason 1 and Amanda make it back to their box, and this is where we learn that the doorways are controlled by the mind. Now Jason tells the story to Amanda, while Daniela tells the story to Charlie about Max and how he died. This is something that Jason 2 is unaware of and sparks doubt in Daniela's mind later on. Jason 2 comes back with Leighton after showing him the box, a world where his grandfather was in fact alive, which then leads the two of them to have a conversation, and Jason 2 actually reveals the truth that he is in fact from another world. Jason 1 and Amanda have a chat about why Jason 2 took his life, and all this stems around family, something Jason 2 does not have. Jason 2 buys Charlie a car, which seems to spark a thought in Daniela's mind. Has he threw a spanner in the works and planted the seed of doubt in this world? As we end the episode with Leighton 2, who looks beaten and battered as he walks the corridor of infinity, we get to see him become more and more lost. He opens a door to a world that seems desolate and barren. Is this obviously because in his mind he is lost and doesn't know what he is doing, so the corridor of infinity adapts to this? I did question here too if this was the same place that Jason 1 and Amanda saw. Maybe the human mind in a state of confusion draws out the same door, as it did look similar. But my question here is, where has he been? He looks like he's got a broken ankle and has some cuts and bruises. Is this purely from a fall in a world where there's nothing around? Or has he seen other versions of himself or Jason, who, as me and Ben predicted in last week's breakdown, could have more evil versions with more sinister weapons and intentions? Overall, the episode was great, and I think the series is starting to pick up a little bit. I must admit the first couple of episodes were slow, but thanks to last week's and this one, we are learning a lot more. And especially with this one, we got a lot more visual details with all the other worlds. There are, of course, a few questions. I mean, one of them is the fact that when Jason 1 and Amanda leave the snowstorm world, why did they not think of a world that is sunny and hot and go there to warm up? If everything is connected by the mind, is it just not on the top of their minds? Or do they think that's too dangerous? And speaking of danger, Jason 2 mentioned to Leighton 1 earlier in the episode that he needs to calm himself and not think, as this could alter what happens, which makes me ask, how dangerous is the corridor of infinity with multiple people? When opening a door, would this go with the person's mind opening the door, or the person with the strongest thought? Or would this cause complete chaos, similar to what we witnessed with all the other doors with Jason 2 and Amanda? And also, I still question what Jason 2's intentions are now. He's told Leighton about who he really is, and his plan to essentially have the best of both worlds, a family and money. What is he going to do? Is he trying to put a team together to control this corridor of infinity? I mean, why else would he bring Leighton into the game when he has the door there already? And what was this creature? Was it just a different time with a different beast? An alien from another world that's invaded this world? Or is it some kind of reality jumping creature looking to correct those who've escaped their own worlds? Yeah, I know, probably a stretch too far, but anyway. I think for me it's going to be interesting to see what Leighton 2 does, as I personally think he will be a bit of a problem for both Jasons at some point. As we've already mentioned, he looked battered and bruised, and if he eventually figures out how to use the door, will he start seeking revenge? Not only that, it seems as though Leighton 1 will be choosing another reality, assuming one where his granddad is still alive. Could Leighton 2 end up in the same world, with him in an act of desperation, wishing he was with the man who raised him one last time, almost like a dying wish making that door appear? I think it's possible, and with this, Leighton 2 would finally learn how to control the doors after speaking to Leighton 1, and then he could come after the Jasons. Now finally, I wanted to talk about the liminal space. I touched on it briefly at the start of this video. Now it's clear multiple people can occupy it at the same time, even though it's supposed to be the mind creating something it can understand. My question is, how come they don't all see each other? At one point it looked like there are 5 people in liminal space. Leighton 1 and 2, Jason 1 and 2, and Amanda. And it looks like when the drug wears off, it kicks you out at the last door you opened. We can see this when Amanda runs out into the snow. It's almost like Jason 1 is forced to that world too. So, are the liminal spaces actually linked to the current world you're in? So when you enter with someone else and take the drug, you both start at the same place. So in theory, could a third person enter in the same reality, then join the liminal space you're in? It all sounds very strange, And if your mind's conjuring something, you would think each person would see it differently. So I'm now wondering if there are also an infinite number of liminal spaces too, one for each world. I don't know, it just seems a bit weird that you can see one person but not the others. Let me know your thoughts. Finally, do you think we're going to see Leighton 2 seek some kind of revenge? Or maybe even Dawn? Is Jason 2 going to mess up Jason 1's world and then flee to the next? And finally, are you enjoying the show? Now, I'm imagining a world where we have 10,000 subs, so hopefully you can start to make that reality by hitting the subscribe and like button. Anyways, thanks for watching, and as always, catch you next time with something new.